Hello, my name is Michel from Rojkind Arquitectos. I was born in 1969 and I have been working in architecture since 1994. One of the interesting things about my background is that I was doing music and architecture at the same time. So I eventually could have a little mix of both that enriched or enhanced my architectural experience. So in 2001 I opened up my practice, Rojkind Arquitectos, which I have been working on ever since. First of all, in Rojkind Arquitectos, we don't want to specialize in any particular field. This has been something that I had in my mind ever since, that not specializing, because we don't want to end up as being architects that only do retail or architects that only do residential. We want to do architecture because we love design. So anything that's design challenging, we want to take it on as a challenge, as a risk of addressing it in different ways. First, by addressing the functional part and making sure everything works in a very dynamic and smooth way, in the best way possible, in a certain budget, but also to make the project have an essence, make the project have this kind of magic that makes it be a tailored suit for every specific client. And that's something that we're happy at in Rojkind Arquitectos. Something that I would recommend architectural students, being first of all, a professor in universities here in Mexico City, all the things that I like to talk about with my students is try to see architecture as a way of life. Try to forget about it being a profession. I know it's you have to go through school and then you open up an office but it's not a 9-to-5 job. Architecture is something that you live day by day. And if you're not concerned when you walk out the door and you're in the street and how public transport works and how parks are lived or how buildings are designed, then I think you're not taking the full advantage or grasping the full concept of architecture. The architect starts in the way you see life, in the way you see around you. So I would definitely recommend that you take it on as a way of life and try to be concerned about the city where you live. It's very important to know where you're doing architecture and what is the circumstances around you. The more you know about your surroundings, and it's not only about contextualizing, it's about understanding where you're doing architecture, the better architect you're going to be. And be very passionate about it. I'm very enthusiastic about the future, especially because of the real estate boom right now. There's so much opportunity to do architecture. And I'm very happy about the use of technology. With everything, with a lot of people investing in real estate, I think the opportunity right now to design more extreme buildings or design more extreme geometries is the time. Because we have the technology, we're designing in 3D, and then from our computers we can pass along this 3D design to companies that eventually will build or fabricate in their shops all these elements or structural elements that will complete the building once it's done. Before we couldn't do that. Everything had to be done in 2D and then cut in shops. So I think we're entering a stage or a phase in architecture which has to do with taking on this technology, experimenting with new materials, because I think there has never been so many materials around to experiment with, and people constantly trying to get new materials. So I think we're going to start seeing structures that are made of carbon fiber instead of regular steel or regular concrete, and who knows, maybe as we were seeing a couple of years ago, translucent concretes and all these materials that eventually will make us see buildings as we have never seen before. So I'm very excited and happy of this time we're living in architecture.